Min-jae felt a small heartbeat against his chest. Not fear. Trust. The city's most dangerous man stayed perfectly still, afraid that even breathing might shatter the moment. Then the lights in the room dimmed. His phone lit up instead. A video. The twins leaving the safe house. One word followed. Found. Then the ultimatum. 72 hours. Come back. Marry her. Or they disappear. The city never truly slept, but that night Seoul felt like it was holding its breath. Min-jae stood alone on the penthouse balcony, his reflection ghost-like against bulletproof glass. Behind him, through sealed doors, Zara slept on the leather couch with both arms curled protectively around Kai and Mia. Even unconscious, her body remained coiled tight, a mother's instinct honed by 3 years of looking over her shoulder. He pressed his forehead against the cold glass and watched traffic lights blink far below like distant warning signals. Somewhere in those glittering streets, his enemies were already moving pieces across a board he'd thought he controlled. The Huang family wouldn't waste time. Neither would his former fiancée, whose parting words still echoed with the promise of calculated revenge. 4 years ago, he had walked away from Zara to save her life. Tonight, staring at his fractured reflection, Min-jae realized something far worse. He hadn't escaped his past. He had only delayed the moment it came for his children. Before we dive deeper into this nightmare, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because what happens next will shock you. This family is about to learn that some prices are too high to pay, and some debts can never be settled. You won't want to miss a single moment. Dawn broke over Seoul with deceptive gentleness, soft light filtering through reinforced windows. Kai woke first, sitting up slowly and blinking at unfamiliar surroundings. His small hands rubbed sleep from eyes that were already learning to assess threat levels no 3-year-old should understand. He looked around at the tall ceilings, the armed men positioned discreetly near doorways, the expensive furniture that felt cold despite its luxury. "Mommy," he whispered, tugging her sleeve. "Is this a hotel?" Zara stirred immediately, that particular alertness of mothers who never fully sleep. "Something like that, baby." Mia pressed closer, thumb finding its way to her mouth, eyes still heavy with exhaustion. "I don't like it here. It smells wrong." "I know, sweetheart. We'll leave soon." But even as Zara said the words, she wondered if they were true. The attack in the park had changed everything. They couldn't just walk back to their quiet Los Angeles life and pretend yesterday never happened. Min-jae stood several feet away, hands clasped behind his back like a guest in his own safe house. He had watched them sleep through the entire night, afraid that closing his eyes even once would make them vanish like smoke. Every small sound they made, every shift in position, every soft breath reminded him of 3 years he could never reclaim. "I had breakfast prepared," he said quietly, his voice carefully neutral. "Whatever they like. Pancakes, rice, fruit, or whatever you're comfortable with them eating." Zara studied him with eyes that had learned to read danger in a glance. "You don't get to play. House yet, Min-jae. You don't get to suddenly be super dad after one dramatic rescue." He nodded once, accepting the rebuke without argument. "Fair enough." Kai slid off the couch, his small bare feet padding across cold marble as he approached Min-jae. He stopped just inches away, tilting his head back to maintain eye contact. For a long moment, he simply stared with an intensity that seemed far too old for his years. "You're really my daddy?" The question carried weight beyond its simple words. Min-jae crouched slowly, bringing himself to eye level without crowding the boy's space. "Yes, I'm your father." Kai considered this information with the seriousness of someone weighing evidence. "Do you have monsters?" The question caught Min-jae off guard. "What do you mean?" "Mommy says bad men have monsters, the kind that live inside them and make them do scary things." Kai's voice remained matter-of-fact, as if discussing the weather. Do you have monsters? Min-jae felt Zara's gaze burning into his back. He could lie. Should lie, probably. Tell the boy that Daddy was one of the good guys, that monsters were just pretend. But something in Kai's steady gaze demanded honesty. Yes, Min-jae said quietly. I have monsters. Did you make them go away? No. He swallowed hard. I made them angry instead. Kai nodded slowly, processing this. Okay, that's honest at least. Zara exhaled sharply. Kai, sweetie, why don't you and Mia go wash up? There's a bathroom through that door with clean towels. But I want to talk to Daddy. Now, Kai. Her voice carried that particular maternal steel that brooked no argument. The boy looked between his parents, then shrugged with the easy acceptance of children who've learned when to pick their battles. He took Mia's hand and led her toward the bathroom, whispering something that made his sister giggle despite her earlier fears. The moment they disappeared, Zara rounded on Min-jae. Don't do that. Don't make yourself out to be some tragic anti-hero they need to understand. They're 3 years old. He asked a direct question. I gave a direct answer. He's a baby, Min-jae. He doesn't need to know about your monsters or your world or any of this. Her voice cracked. He needs to believe his father is someone safe, someone good. I won't lie to them about what I am. Then what exactly are you? She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a harsh whisper. Because right now, you're the reason we almost died yesterday. You're the reason my children are in a bulletproof cage instead of their own beds. So tell me, Min-jae, what should I tell them you are? Before he could answer, the penthouse door opened. Lieutenant Kim entered, his scarred face grave as he carried a tablet. He took one look at the tension crackling between them and hesitated. Boss, we need to talk, now! Zara's entire body went rigid. She recognized him immediately. You, the man with the scar, the one who put me on that plane to Los Angeles. Kim bowed his head slightly. Miss Zara, it's been a long time. Not long enough. Her voice turned to ice. You lied to me, told me Min-jae wanted me gone forever, that staying would only get me killed and ruin everything he'd built. I protected you, Kim said simply. You made that choice for me. You took away my right to decide. She turned to Min-jae. Did you know? Did you order him to send me away? Min-jae's jaw tightened. I asked him to watch over you from a distance, to keep you safe without revealing himself. I never told him to send you to another country. Zara's laugh was bitter. So, this is what your protection looks like. Lies and manipulation and armed guards. Kim cleared his throat. With respect, if you'd stayed in Seoul, you would be dead. The Hwang family had a contract out on you worth 50 million won. Every mercenary and desperate gang member in the city was looking for a young black woman connected to Boss Park. I gave you a new identity and a plane ticket, because it was the only way to guarantee your survival. And my pregnancy? Zara's voice shook. When did you figure that out? Kim met her eyes steadily. The medical bills you were paying appeared in my monitoring reports about 2 months after you left. The amounts matched prenatal care. I confirmed it through hospital records. Min-jae stood very still. You knew. All this time, you knew I had children, and you said nothing. I made a tactical decision to preserve operational security and protect high-value assets. They're not assets. Min-jae's voice cracked like a whip. They're my children. And if you'd known about them 3 years ago, what would you have done? Kim stepped forward, his scarred face intense. You would have gone after her, brought her back to Seoul, put her in a safe house just like this one, and within 6 months, the Hwang family or the Russians or the Yakuza would have found a way in. They always do. You know this, boss. You've seen it happen to others who tried to protect families in our world. The silence stretched like a blade. Zara sank onto the couch, her hands trembling. So what you're saying is that my children have been targets since before they were born. That no matter what choice I made, they were already marked. Yes, Kim said quietly. The moment Boss Park loved you, you became a weapon his enemies could use against him. The moment you carried his children, they became leverage. This was inevitable. Mia's voice called out from the bathroom. Mommy, Kai won't share the good towel. The domestic complaint cut through the heavy atmosphere like a knife. Zara stood mechanically, moving toward her children with the automatic responses of motherhood, even as her mind reeled with implications. Min-jae waited until she was out of earshot. What else? Kim activated the tablet, pulling up security footage. The Huang family knows about the children. They've identified Zara. They have photographs, addresses in Los Angeles, even the twins' preschool records. This footage was taken 6 hours ago. The screen showed grainy video of the safe house courtyard. Kai and Mia were visible through a window, playing with blocks while Zara watched them. Someone had zoomed in on their faces, capturing clear images of both children. How did they get this close? Drone. Small enough to avoid our standard countermeasures. It was only in range for 40 seconds before we shot it down, but that was enough. Kim swiped to the next screen. This message came through our dark web channels 2 hours ago. Min-jae read the text, his blood turning to ice. 72 hours. Return to your throne, or we start collecting pieces of your legacy, starting with the ones that cry when you cut them. Below the message was another image, a photograph of his former fiancée, smiling as she sat across from the head of the Huang family. The timestamp showed it was taken the same night she walked out of his safe house. She went straight to them, Min-jae said flatly. Within 2 hours of leaving here. We have surveillance showing her entering their compound. She was inside for 3 hours. When she left, she was smiling. Kim paused. Boss, she's given them everything. Your security protocols, your business operations, the locations of your secondary safe houses. But more importantly, she's given them leverage. She knows you have children now. She knows that changes everything. Min-jae stared at the image, feeling the careful walls he'd built around his emotions beginning to crack. What does she want? Based on intelligence gathered from our contacts inside the Huang organization? Kim pulled up another file. She wants you back, not as a lover, but as a trophy. She wants you to publicly return as head of the Park family operations, marry her as planned, and essentially hand her status and power she couldn't get any other way. And if I refuse? Kim's expression said everything. Min-jae walked to the window, watching dawn fully break over Seoul. Somewhere in that sprawling city, his former fiancée was probably sleeping peacefully, confident in her revenge. Somewhere else, the Huang family was planning their next move, counting down those 72 hours. And here, in this bulletproof cage, his children were learning to live with fear. There's more, Kim said quietly. The message specifically mentions Zara. Says she needs to disappear permanently as part of any arrangement. They view her as competition for your attention and loyalty. Min-jae closed his eyes. They want me to choose. They want you to sacrifice. Again. Like you did 4 years ago when you pushed her away to protect her. Except this time, they're making the stakes explicit. Kim's voice gentled slightly. Boss, I've served you for 15 years. I've never seen you hesitate in a crisis. But this situation has no good options. Every choice leads to loss. The bathroom door opened. Kai and Mia emerged, faces scrubbed clean, wearing clothes from the emergency supplies Min-jae kept stocked. They looked impossibly small in the oversized shirts, like children playing dress-up in an adult's world. Kai spotted the tablet in Kim's hands. Are those the bad men? The ones with monsters? Kim quickly darkened the screen, but not before the boy caught a glimpse of text and images. His young face went still in a way that broke Minjai's heart. Just work stuff, little man, Kim said, forcing his scarred face into something approximating a smile. Boring adult things. You're lying. Kai's voice carried no accusation, just observation. Grown-ups always lie when they're scared. Their voices get too happy. Zara appeared from the bedroom where she'd gone to change. She took one look at the frozen tableau and immediately moved to her children. Breakfast time. Let's see what fancy food rich people eat. But Kai pulled away from her reaching hand. He walked directly to Minjai, those two old eyes studying him with uncomfortable intensity. Are you going to leave again? The boy asked. Minjai crouched down, meeting his son's gaze. I don't want to. That's not what I asked. Are you going to leave? The question hung in the air like smoke. Behind Kai, Mia watched with her thumb in her mouth. Zara stood frozen halfway across the room. Kim tactfully examined his tablet as if suddenly fascinated by nothing. Minjai could lie. Should lie. Tell his son that everything would be fine, that Daddy would never leave, that they'd be a family forever. But Kai was right. The boy could smell deception the way predators smell fear. I might have to, Minjai said quietly, to keep you safe. That's what Mommy said before. Kai's small hand reached out, touching Minjai's cheek with surprising gentleness. She said you were fighting monsters so we didn't have to be scared, but I think you're scared too. Minjai's throat closed. He nodded, not trusting his voice. Kai considered this, then wrapped his small arms around Minjai's neck. The hug was brief, fierce, and completely unexpected. It's okay to be scared, the boy whispered. Mommy gets scared all the time. She just hides it better. Then Kai pulled back and took his sister's hand, leading her toward the kitchen as if he hadn't just shattered his father's carefully constructed control. Zara watched them go, then turned to Minjai with eyes bright with tears. He's too young to understand all this. He understands more than we think. That's what terrifies me. She wrapped her arms around herself. When I was pregnant, I used to imagine what they'd be like. I'd hope they'd have your intelligence and my optimism, your strength and my warmth. I never imagined they'd grow up reading fear in adult faces and accepting danger as normal. Minjai stood slowly, every muscle in his body aching with exhaustion he couldn't afford to show. Zara, there's something you need to know. He told her everything. The message, the 72-hour deadline, the impossible choice his enemies were forcing on him. When he finished, she had gone very pale. So let me understand this correctly, she said, her voice dangerously calm. Your ex-fiancé has allied with your enemies. Together, they're threatening our children unless you return to running your criminal empire and marry her. And as part of this arrangement, I have to disappear permanently. That's the offer. And if you refuse? Minjai didn't answer. He didn't need to. Zara laughed, the sound harsh and broken. This is insane. This entire situation is completely insane. I took my children to a park, just a normal afternoon in what I thought was a safe city. And now we're discussing which of us has to disappear so the others can live. There might be another way. Is there? She stepped closer, her voice rising. Tell me, Minjai. What's your tactical genius solution? Because I've been living in your world for the past 24 hours, and I've learned something important. Your world doesn't negotiate. It doesn't compromise. It only understands power and fear and violence. From the kitchen, Mia's voice called out uncertainly. Mommy, why are you yelling? Zara immediately modulated her tone. Sorry, baby. Mommy's just having a grown-up conversation. Everything's fine. But everything wasn't fine, and they both knew it. Kim cleared his throat gently. Boss, we have 69 hours remaining on their deadline. I need your decision on how to proceed. Min-jae looked at the man who'd served him longer than anyone. What would you do? I'd kill everyone involved and salt the earth where they stood, Kim said matter-of-factly. But that approach would start a war that would consume half of Seoul's underworld. Your children would grow up with targets on their backs for decades, so that's not a viable solution. Then what is? Kim met his eyes steadily. You already know, boss. You've known since the moment you saw that message. There's only one move that protects everyone you love. Min-jae did know. Had known from the instant he read the ultimatum. The realization sat in his chest like lead, heavy and cold and inevitable. He had to go back, had to reclaim his throne in the underworld, had to marry his former fiancée and play the role they demanded, had to send Zara and the children away again, this time forever. It was the only way to keep them alive. No, Zara said suddenly. Both men looked at her. No, she repeated, her voice stronger. I won't let you do this. I won't let you sacrifice yourself again. You don't have a choice. Neither do you. She moved toward him, fury and fear warring in her expression. You think I'll just take our children and disappear? Let you martyr yourself while we live in hiding forever? That's not protection, Min-jae. That's prison. It's life, which is more than they'll have if I refuse. Then we fight back. We find another way. There is no other way. His voice cracked with the force of suppressed emotion. Do you think I want this? Do you think I want to walk away from my children again? To send you into hiding knowing I'll probably never see any of you again? But this is the only path that doesn't end with you all dead. The penthouse fell silent, except for the soft sounds of the children playing in the kitchen, blissfully unaware that their entire future was being decided in the next room. Zara's hands trembled as she pressed them against her face. There has to be another option. There has to be something we're not seeing. I've been analyzing this for hours, Kim interjected quietly. Every scenario I run ends the same way. The Huang family has positioned themselves perfectly. They know Boss Park's weakness now. They'll exploit it until they get what they want. Then we disappear, Zara said desperately. All of us. New identities, new country, completely off the grid. You have resources, right? Money, connections, people who can make us vanish? Min-jae shook his head. They found you once. They'll find you again. And next time, I won't be there to stop them. So this is it? Tears spilled down her cheeks. This is really happening? You're just going to give up? I'm giving them a future. His voice broke on the last word. Even if I'm not in it. From the kitchen, Kai appeared in the doorway, his small face solemn. Mommy, why are you crying? Zara immediately wiped her eyes, forcing a smile that didn't reach anywhere near convincing. Mommy's just tired, baby. Go finish your breakfast. But Kai didn't move. He looked at Min-jae with those eerily perceptive eyes. You're leaving, aren't you? That's what's making Mommy sad. Min-jae knelt down, his heart shattering with every word he had to say. I have to go away for a little while, to make sure you and Mia and your mommy stay safe. How long is a little while? Forever, Min-jae thought. I don't know yet. Kai's bottom lip trembled, but he didn't cry. Instead, he walked over and took his father's hand in his tiny one. Is it because of the monsters? The ones you made? Angry? Yes. then you should go make them not angry anymore. The logic was simple, childlike, devastating. And then come back when they're gone. Min-jae pulled his son into a fierce embrace, breathing in the scent of children's shampoo and innocence he didn't deserve. I'll try, Kai. I promise I'll try. That's what grown-ups say when they mean no, Kai whispered against his shoulder. But it's okay. I'll take care of Mommy and Mia. The boy pulled back, his small face set with determination that belonged on someone decades older. He returned to the kitchen without another word, leaving the adults to their impossible decisions. Kim checked his watch. Boss, if you're going to do this, we need to start preparations now. The Huang family will want a public display, a formal meeting to negotiate terms. Set it up, Min-jae said hollowly. Tonight. I want this done quickly. Min-jae, please. Zara grabbed his arm. Don't do this. We'll find another way. We have to find another way. He turned to face her fully, taking in every detail of her face like a man memorizing his last meal. 4 years ago, I walked away from you to save your life. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I spent every day since then trying to convince myself it was the right choice. And now? Now I know it was the right choice. Because you're alive. Because you brought our children into this world and kept them safe when I couldn't. He touched her face gently. This is me making the right choice again, even if it kills me to do it. It's killing me too, she whispered. I know, but you're stronger than I ever was. You'll survive this. You'll make sure they grow up good and safe and far away from my world. Kim stepped toward the door. I'll make the arrangements. We should plan for the meeting at midnight. Neutral territory, probably the old textile warehouse in Yongsan. Both families have used it for negotiations before. After Kim left, Min-jae and Zara stood in heavy silence. From the kitchen came the sounds of the twins arguing over who got the last strawberry, a moment of normalcy in a situation that was anything but. I hate you, Zara said quietly. I know. I hate that you're right. I hate that this is the only way. I hate that I still love you, even though you're about to break my heart again. I hate it too. She pressed her forehead against his chest. When you leave tonight, promise me something. Anything. Promise me you won't forget them, that even when years pass and they grow up without you, you'll remember what Kai's laugh sounds like, what Mia's favorite color is, the way they hold hands when they're scared. Promise me they won't just be an abstract idea of children you once had. I could never forget them, Zara. They're carved into my soul. Good. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. Because I'm going to make sure they remember you too. I won't let them grow up thinking their father abandoned them. I'll tell them every day that you love them enough to walk away. The rest of the day passed in a strange, suspended reality. Min-jae spent every moment he could with Kai and Mia, trying to compress a lifetime of fatherhood into hours. He helped them build block towers and listened to Mia's rambling stories about her imaginary friend. He let Kai show him how to properly arrange toy cars in order of color and size. If you're emotionally invested in this family, hit that subscribe button right now, because what happens next will leave you speechless, and you need to be here for every devastating moment. Normal moments. Precious moments. Moments that would have to sustain him through the years ahead. Zara watched from a distance, her face a mask of controlled grief. She took photographs with her phone, capturing images of father and children together. Evidence that this brief intersection of their lives had been real. As evening approached, Kim returned with a dark suit and grim news. Everything's arranged. Midnight at the warehouse. The Huang family has agreed to terms pending your formal acceptance. What are the terms exactly? Zara asked. Kim glanced at Minjae, who nodded permission. Boss Park returns as head of operations. He marries Miss Choi within 30 days in a public ceremony. All of his business interests and territories return to full operation under his control, but with the Huang family as primary partners in several key ventures. And Miss Zara and the children receive new identities and relocation to a country of their choosing, with the understanding that any contact with Boss Park results in immediate termination of the agreement. Termination, Zara repeated bitterly. Such a polite word for murder. It's the language they won't use, Kim said without apology. Minjae checked the time. 8 hours until midnight. 8 hours until he walked into that warehouse and signed away everything that mattered. I need to speak with my children, he said. Alone. Zara nodded, though her eyes glistened with fresh tears. I'll be in the bedroom. Take all the time you need. Kim excused himself to coordinate security arrangements, leaving Minjae alone with Kai and Mia. They sat on the floor surrounded by toys, looking up at him with matching expressions of curiosity mixed with wariness. Minjae settled onto the floor with them, his expensive suit wrinkling against the carpet. For a long moment, he simply watched them exist. The way Mia tucked her hair behind her ear when she concentrated. The way Kai bit his lower lip when arranging toys in precise patterns. I need to tell you both something important, he began. Mia climbed into his lap immediately, settling against his chest like she'd done it 1,000 times before. Kai remained where he was, but his eyes never left his father's face. I have to go away tonight, Minjae continued, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. And I'm going to be gone for a very long time. How long? Mia asked. I don't know, baby girl. Maybe years, maybe longer. Will you come back? Her small hand clutched his shirt. Minjae forced himself to be honest. I'm going to try very hard, but I need you both to understand something. I'm leaving because I love you. I know that doesn't make sense right now. You're going to be angry with me. You're going to miss me. You might even hate me sometimes. I won't hate you, Mia said immediately. Me neither, Kai added quietly. Maybe not now, but when you're older, when you don't remember my face clearly anymore, you might wonder why I left. You might think I didn't love you enough to stay. He pulled Mia closer, reaching out to take Kai's hand. But I need you to always remember this moment. I need you to remember that your daddy loved you more than anything in the entire world, more than power, more than money, more than his own life. I'm leaving because staying would put you in danger, and I would rather live without you than risk you living without life. Kai squeezed his hand. The monsters would hurt us if you stayed? Yes. Then you should go fight them, the boy said with heartbreaking logic. That's what daddies do. They fight monsters so their kids can be safe. Minjae's eyes burned. You're very brave, Kai. Mommy says I get it from you. Your mommy is much braver than I'll ever be. He looked at both children, memorizing every detail. I need you both to promise me something. Promise me you'll take care of each other. Promise me you'll listen to your mommy and grow up strong and smart and kind. Promise me you'll be happy, even without me there. I promise, Mia whispered against his chest. Kai hesitated longer, his young mind clearly working through the implications. Finally, he nodded. I promise. But you have to promise something too. What's that? Promise that when the monsters are gone, you'll come find us. Even if we're really old, even if we forget what you look like, promise you'll come back. Minjae pulled both children close, his composure finally cracking. I promise. No matter how long it takes, no matter what I have to do, I will find my way back to you. They sat together on the floor for a long time, three people bound by blood and love and circumstances beyond any of their control. Eventually, Mia fell asleep in his arms, exhausted by emotion and the late hour. Kai dozed against his side, one small hand still clutching his father's shirt. Zara appeared in the doorway, her face swollen from crying. "It's time," she said quietly. "Kim needs you to start getting ready." Min-jae carefully transferred the sleeping children to the couch, covering them with a soft blanket. He stood, every movement feeling like he was walking through deep water. This was it. The moment where he stopped being their father and became a ghost they'd hear stories about. In the bedroom, Kim had laid out clothes appropriate for the meeting. Dark suit, no tie, the kind of outfit that signaled power without ostentation. Min-jae changed mechanically, his mind already shifting into the cold, calculated mode he'd need to survive what came next. Zara watched from the doorway. "I never thought I'd see you put that armor back on. It's the only way I know how to protect them." "I know." She stepped closer, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. "Min-jae, when you walk out that door tonight, you're not just leaving them. You're leaving me too. And I need you to know something before you go." "What?" "I forgive you. For 4 years ago. For breaking my heart. For pushing me away. I understand now why you did it, even if I hate that you had to." Tears streamed down her face. "But I don't forgive you for this. I don't forgive you for giving up without fighting, for choosing their safety over trying to find a way we could all be together. That's something I'll carry for the rest of my life. I can live with your hatred if it means you get to live." "That's the problem, isn't it? You're so busy making sure we survive that you've forgotten we might want to live." She turned away. "Go do what you have to do, but don't expect me to thank you for it." Kim appeared with a final briefing. "Transportation is ready. I'll have a full security detail, but the Huang family has guaranteed safe passage for the negotiation. Your former fiancé will be present to formalize the arrangement." Min-jae nodded, his face settling into the cold mask he'd perfected over years in the underworld. The man who had played with his children on the floor was gone, replaced by the ruthless strategist who'd built an empire on calculated violence. He walked to the couch one final time, looking down at his sleeping children. Kai had rolled closer to his sister, his small arm thrown protectively across her. Even in sleep, he was trying to take care of her. "I love you both," Min-jae whispered. "More than you'll ever know." Then he turned and walked toward the door, each step feeling like a small death. At the threshold, he paused and looked back. Zara had emerged from the bedroom, standing sentinel over their children. Her eyes met his across the distance, and in that moment, everything that had ever existed between them crystallized into pure, agonizing understanding. "Goodbye, Zara." "Don't," she said sharply. "Don't say goodbye like it's noble. Just go." He went. The warehouse in Yongsan smelled of old machinery and secrets. Min-jae walked through the cavernous space flanked by Kim and 4 guards, his footsteps echoing off concrete walls. At the center of the warehouse, lights had been set up around a long table. On one side sat the head of the Huang family, an elderly man whose gentle appearance disguised decades of ruthless violence. And next to him, smiling with cold satisfaction, sat Min-jae's former fiancée. She had dressed for the occasion in white, the color of mourning in Korean tradition. Her makeup was perfect, her posture impeccable. She looked like a woman who had already won. "Min-jae," she said warmly, as if greeting an old friend. "I'm so glad you came to your senses." He sat across from them without responding, his face carved from stone. The head of the Huang family gestured to documents spread across the table. "Everything is as we discussed. You return to your position. All territories restored, all operations resumed. My family becomes your partner in specified ventures, receiving 40% of profits from those enterprises. In exchange, we guarantee protection for your former lover and the children. They disappear. You never contact them. They never contact you. Clean break. And if I refuse? The old man smiled sadly. Then tomorrow morning, Miss Zara receives a package containing evidence that her children's father is a criminal wanted in 6 countries. Within hours, American authorities arrest her on conspiracy charges. The children enter the foster system, and while she spends years fighting extradition, we make sure she never sees them again. Is that the future you prefer? Minjai's hands clenched beneath the table. They'd thought of everything. Every angle, every contingency, every pressure point that would force his compliance. His former fiancée leaned forward. I'm not unreasonable, Minjai. I actually think we can make this work. You get your empire back. I get the status and partnership I deserve. The woman who was never good enough for your world disappears with her mistakes. Everyone wins. They're not mistakes, Minjai said quietly. They're my children. Children you'll never see again anyway, she countered. At least this way they get to live. Isn't that what you wanted? For them to be safe? She was right. Everything she said was logically, brutally right. This was the only path that kept Kai and Mia alive and free. This was the sacrifice their safety demanded. Minjai reached for the pen. He married Yuna, not out of love, but obligation and his children's safety. 3 years later, Minjai ruled again. The city whispered his name the way it once had, quietly, fearfully, with respect edged in terror. His empire was larger, colder, more efficient than before. He made no mistakes, took no unnecessary risks, because he could not afford to. His children grew without him. Kai stopped asking why his father never came to birthdays. He learned early that questions only led to disappointment. Mia kept waiting. At first, she sat by the window every night, then only on weekends. Eventually, only when she was sad and didn't know why. Zara told them stories instead. She said their father was far away fighting bad men so they wouldn't have to be scared. She said he loved them more than anything, even if he couldn't be there. Some nights she believed it. Some nights she cried after they fell asleep. Minjai watched them from a distance. Birthdays, school entrances, first scraped knees, all through surveillance feeds and carefully timed glimpses that never lasted long enough for him to be seen. Then one night, the phone rang. Minjai answered immediately. Daddy? Kai's voice was older now, steadier, but there was fear underneath it that made Minjai's blood run cold. Kai, what happened? They took Mommy. The world narrowed. And Mia? She ran. She told me to hide. I don't know where she is. Minjai closed his eyes. Listen to me, he said, voice deadly calm. Where are you? A place with fish. It smells bad. There are men with tattoos. The Serpent Clan. Minjai stood slowly. Stay hidden. Don't make a sound. I'm coming. He ended the call. The monster his children had grown up hearing about finally returned. And this time, he was coming home with blood on his hands. Minjai loaded his weapon. 10 men waited behind him. He spoke one sentence. They touched my family. The engines roared. The war was coming. But this time,